Okay.
man.
All right. So we're here with Marcus Samie with his debut EP only.
Yes,
It's going to be available on June 6th. So I'm sitting here with my boy here.
What's going on, Mason? Good to see
Absolutely,
you, man.
Mr. Marcus Samie. All right, Marcus.
Bro.
We're going to jump right in.
Yes, sir.
All right. Your EP is entitled Only.
Yeah.
That's a powerful word. Why that title? And what does it mean to you in this season?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. I shared a little bit in my testimony between September and January is when I really started working on the project, and all the songs really started coming in regards to lyrics. And it was a season where God had to refocus my attention.
Okay.
I put it back on Him. I found myself depending on my job, found myself depending on where I served at church and getting paid there or singing here and there, and I really found myself leaning on those things as a source for me and livelihood. And my relationship with God, not blaming anybody, just on my own. I just stopped giving that the attention that it needed, and God was like, "Hey, man, it's all about me.
Yeah.
What about me?" And it took me to do something I didn't want to do. I didn't want to stop leading where I was leading. I loved where I was at. I loved what I was doing. But I just felt like this thing in my stomach, which was really God pulling me back to Him and just saying, man, get in my word again. Get back focused. Get your foundation straight. Yeah, you can sing. Yes, you have this ability, the gift that I gave you. But God is like, man, listen, let's strengthen that.
Yeah.
With a relationship, a solid relationship with me based off my word, and that only that's what it's about. God, He's holy. He's by Himself. He's alone by Himself. The last song is called "Holy" on my album, and the last word in that song is "only," and that's where the title came from.
Okay. Did you have other title or any other ideas before that?
I did. I was trying to name it like "Holy" because from one of the listeners I was getting, they were like, "Holy" seemed to be like one of the standout songs for them. They just felt like, man, like I was gonna usually in tracks or albums you see like a song, that might be the title of the whole album.
Right.
And I was just trying to follow that mold, and my wife was like, "No, just name it Only. Like this album is just only about God. Your focus is only about Him. Whatever your album does, it does, but let your attention be solely about Him."
All right, so you're like a singer-songwriter, and every writer has their own process.
Yeah.
As far as how they either write. Some people write like words first, they hear the music first, and they write to the music. What is your process like?
It's so interesting, man. Like, I started playing acoustic guitar when I met my wife. Well, when me and my wife got married. 2013. She plays the guitar, so she actually really plays, and I was just like looking at her like, I want to learn how to play like that. I want to play like her. And she started teaching me some stuff because I used to hear melodies in my mind, and I just always felt like at a disadvantage. I didn't know piano. I didn't know any other instrument really very well, and I just wanted to be able to try to get those melodies, basic chord progressions out so that I can give it to somebody that really knows and can put the music together. So that's how my process normally comes. I'm hearing a melody in my mind, a progression, and I try to translate it in acoustic. And then a lot of times words follow after the music.
Okay, so music first, lyrics second.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So because you say music first, I mean, you had to have worked with a couple of different producers on the album. Who are the producers, and how was that relationship in cultivating this new project?
That's amazing, man. I started off with Joshua Harris. He's an amazing songwriter, amazing producer, amazing electric guitar player, amazing writer in his own right, and Queasy Justice. Queasy Justice makes phenomenal beats. He's a musician in his own right and producer. So I work with those two primarily. And then there's a service that I purchase instrumentals from as well. So I might have an idea and I send it off to them. Artists out there, sfrbeats.com. sfrbeats.com. You can send your idea to them or look through their library. They're always putting up new, fresh ideas for you can purchase. You can get sole rights for that as well. So I did that for parts of the songs too.
Okay. So what parts of the album did you kind of say, okay, I like this, but I don't like that. Let's try this instrument. Let's try something like that. Because I know looking at like documentaries documentaries from like Michael Jackson. He'll like spend times. He just wants this one sound that is like, I gotta find that one sound. Whether it could literally be a block hitting a wall. Oh, that's it.
Yo, it really, I would have to say, Holy was one that it was like, I really was like, I had this idea where I wanted this like, I want to tap back into like more this African rhythm, specifically like Ghanaian rhythm. I served at a church for many years from like high school up, leading worship there. And we did a lot of Ghanaian songs, Nigerian songs. I wanted to have an authentic feeling, African, kind of like tribal kind of song.
Yeah.
And that one took a lot of time, really, to really get that right sound. But the producer really was lenient with me and helped me develop that sound. They had a basic Afrobeat sound. And we just like, man, increase the congas, man, increase this, like, and it really helped it out.
Nice. So your style is just a little bit different. It's all kind of off the beaten path of what regular gospel is. You recently said that your music is the kind of music people can play with their guard down.
Yeah, man.
And that's rare. How did you create that vibe in the studio?
Man, look, having kids, going on car rides, and my mom knows, like, oh man, I don't listen to a lot of music, or I'm very selective with what I listen to, just because, I don't know, like, my kids.
Okay.
They're like this guy, and his name is David. Gosh, what's your name, Dave? What's your last name, Dave? You might have to edit this out, but his name is David. Yeah, I met him at Notasium. This is a place where kids come. It's a play place with music theme, and kids can play and they can learn instruments. We took our kids there and met him, and he found out I did music. He said, man, play music in your car. And if the kids say play it again, then you know you got something. But if they say, hey, don't play it again, skip it.
All right.
Don't ever put it out.
Let's shout out to the three. You got 3 kids.
Got 3 little people.
2 girls and a son.
2 girls and 1 boy.
All right, let's shout them out.
Yeah, shout out to Eden, Brooke, and Rain, my 3 babies. Love y'all. Y'all are honest with Daddy in the car when y'all like, Dad, don't put that out. Don't play that. We play artists. We turn on the light, and they be like, oh, don't turn this off. Or, there's a song on there they like. They're just your kids is very honest.
Absolutely.
Dad, your breath is hot. They did tell you. The big balls, I know. Thank you for bearing with me. I know. I can taste it. I'm like, but
yeah. All right. You're stupid. You're dumb. All right. The EP starts with a song called "All Right." It ends with a song named "Holy."
Yes. Yeah.
Was that deliberate as far as what is the through line that you want people to experience as they're listening to the song?
Yeah, it's just like I wanted to start it with like rejoicing. Like, look, you might be in a hard place, but everything's gonna be all right. I got just this feeling that I just can't put to the side that everything's gonna be all right. I'm gonna start it with an encouragement to somebody that might be going through. We're all going through different things in our lives. I just want to start with that declaration, like we're starting it with a positive confession that we believe everything's gonna be all right, and then ending it with God, like we're starting it with giving God praise, like everything's gonna be all right, and reassuring yourself from the beginning, that God's in control.
Absolutely. I know you were kind of talking about some of the same struggles that you may have had over these past couple of months. How did your own conversations with God shape these song choices?
Yeah, man, I felt like God. I felt like God was. Like I said that out there when we were playing the music, I was saying it felt like all hell had broke loose against me, and a lot of times it felt like I was being attacked because stuff just without reason happened to us. Like, our tenants, they were first-time landlords, and they were great the first 4 to 5 months, and then for 4 months straight they just didn't pay rent. Like, wow. They just were not paying, and so that was a heavy financial toll on us. I was like, God, like, okay, we felt like you've been leading us so far, like. You must have known they weren't going to be able to pay this rent. Like, why is this happening to us? And at the same time, my wife's business, she does CMOS, and we do markets mostly heavily during the summer. And this was right in the fall season where the business there started to slow. And then right at the same time, I stepped down from my position in leading worship as well. So there were a couple of financial hits. And then in my own personal business, there was financial hits. The clients weren't calling me anymore. So in all aspects. And then Trump also started Trump, this ain't political, y'all, but he did cut funding, federal funding for state programs, research funding institutes, and that's what I work for.
Okay.
So there was heavy layoffs. There was 2 graphic designers at my job. I'm getting real specific, but they let one go, so all that work fell on me. And it was a constant pressure. People just quitting. So there was more work being put on me, and just didn't happen.
I am praying for you. I know that lifestyle.
I'm in it right now. It's crazy.
My God.
It's great. And it's tough, when you work for something and it comes to you and all of it goes just like that, because you don't have the resources to even meet your daily needs. It got to a point where we didn't have food. I had to ask my mom for some money. I had to ask my mother-in-law, and they were there. They helped me. But it was truly humbling, because I felt like I was supposed to be one that provides for others. And I was asking God, dude, why am I going through this?
Yeah.
And I just kept feeling in my spirit, God was like, man, this is me. I'm pulling you to me. Just keep pressing into me. And the word says, seek first the kingdom of God, His righteousness, and these other things will be added. These things that were concerning me. I knew it just somewhere that God was in control of those things. I'm just asking God, honestly, for help. Because it is just a real transparent moment. I said it on social media, but I felt like when you have 3 kids, I at a point in time, I was homeless, for a very brief period. We were looking for places to stay. There was only one night where we didn't have a place to stay. We didn't know where we were going. We were actually on the street, on the corner, out looking for God to make a way. And God miraculously came through for us.
Yeah.
Miraculously, in the twinkling of an eye. But having been through that experience, one of my biggest fears was to have my family go through something like that. And we were at that point where we were about to lose our home.
Yeah.
Because of just financial struggles. And I felt like I didn't want to be here on earth anymore. I didn't want them. I didn't want them to go through that.
Yeah.
And I just felt like as a man, I was inadequate. I felt like I was inadequate. I'm telling God these things. I don't want to be here. I know where my gun is. All this stuff. I just felt worthless. I just felt like
You say you know where your gun is?
Yeah, I know where my gun is.
Okay.
That's real stuff.
But I'm being real.
Yeah.
And I was just man,
Real talk.
I felt like, man, I was like, I let my family down. I already been through this test of being on the street. I've been through these things. God, why am I at this place again? And I didn't have an answer. God, in a way, God was very silent.
Yeah.
During this time, man. But what He had me start to do was get up in the mornings and read His word. I went to Target. This is a crazy story. Me and my wife were looking for Christmas presents. We didn't have much money. We were still trying to get presents for people. We love to give, man. So we got to Target, and we're trying to get some gifts. And this book was there. It's called the Bible Study Book by Zach Stovall, let's say. And in Target, I was like, I gotta get this book. I got to the cash register with our stuff, and my card declined. My wife, this guy behind me, not even realizing what happened, he's talking to his wife. He's like, hey, I see that book you got. I want to pay for all your stuff.
Wow.
He said, I see you're seeking God in this season. He was like, keep Him in your heart. You're on the right path. You seek God, you read His word, you're in the right path. So I started from that day reading that book from then till now. And it let you go through the Bible. I was reading things in the Bible that I've seen as a kid or heard, but it just came to life to me, man. Because my hunger was like, God, I just want to know you. I don't care. If I don't sing anymore, if I'm not singing on the stage anymore, if I'm not at a church doing anything, but if I'm with you, good. Just take care of me and my family.
Yeah, just kind of looking at your backstory, you've had moments where you literally, God just showed up at the 9th hour. I think of a story that you had told before about your family and your mom right before high school, and you were homeless, but it's like right when y'all didn't think you didn't have anything, someone just showed up and you kind of talk about a little bit more about that.
My mom's here to testify. My sister, we were ran through some tough times. We had people. My mom is a giver, man. Even if my mom doesn't have, she will find somebody that's in need, bring them in, and take care of. Like she's just a loving, selfless individual. And she had a couple of ladies that stayed with us. We were at a shelter for a little bit, came back to the apartment, lost that space, all of us together. We moved out together, and we were just trusting God, like, okay, God, we don't have anywhere to go. We're here. And they started worshiping. My mom and these two ladies, they started singing songs, welcome into, they're just worshiping God in front of what was it, CVS? It was not a CVS, what was it?
It was an
Eckerd drugstore
back then.
in Raleigh. We can still pass it now. It's probably a CVS or Walgreens now. But we were there, and we didn't have any money, didn't have any food. We just had our clothes. Everything else was in the apartment. We had to leave. And we're there. The lady that my mom was with, she was a prophet all the way from Africa. I don't know specifically where, but she was from Africa. And God had said, hey, it's time to separate.
Yeah.
And her and the lady, they left. And me and my mom and my sister was there, left. And we didn't know where the next step was. I knew through God, through my mom's worship, that God was going to happen. God was going to do something.
Absolutely.
And we were there. And all I can say is I get the story mixed up a little bit, but somebody did come up. They came to my mom. They presented her with something. When we looked up to say thank you, that person was gone. Like it was just like it was an angel, God sent individual. And from that point on, honestly, God has just kept us on a trajectory up. From that point on, taking care of us, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe that we all have to not worry in those moments, and it's really hard not to. It's really hard not to. I mean, we're all human, but it'd be those moments where it's like you just feel like you're just stripped of everything, and God just kind of like strips you down to the barest necessity. What did you hear most clearly when God took away everything and all you had was silence?
That's so good, man. So good. It was just like the believe, man. That's where the song Just Believe started coming from. The lyrics was frustration. I've been waiting at this mountain too long, and time is impatient. It waits for no one.
Absolutely.
And that word that came to me, and it was like God was just reminding me of my mom's little keychain she used to have. It was like believe or like trust in the Lord, something along those lines. And I just kept seeing that. And the word that came to her from the prophet was just believe, only believe, only believe. That's all that God was telling me.
Yeah.
Only believe, only believe, only believe. And I just felt like I was able to hear that and trust that because I was intentionally spending time with him. Intentionally, like getting up in the morning and spending time with him. That I wasn't doing while I was doing all this serving, all this stuff. Just fitting God in here and there. It was like I was intentionally chasing God, man.
Yeah.
Like intentionally, man. Desperately.
Did you feel when creating this EP that it was more about personal worship, or was it about healing?
Man, it was a combination of like definite healing. It was like a journal almost, man. It felt like a journal, but definitely worship, man, because it ended with holy, like, and there was moments in that album where it's just like, man, just like hands lifted high towards the sky. I don't have anything else to say except, you're holy or whatever, like. And you write something and it just makes you cry. You just sit there and you're just like, man, God, man, I don't know who this just blesses one person, two people. Like, it's done what it needs to do, man. It's a journal, man. It just was a transparent. I think the best songs come from a place where, as an artist, you're like, man, I resonate with this and I can deliver this authentically. Like, I'm not just performing this song. Like, I really feel like it resonates with me. And people can tell that when they listen to you.
Sure.
And when it's something that's really authentic to
Absolutely.